Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Bolg here, back again. Today we are looking at Rift. The main reason I'm looking at Rift today is because right now they have a promotion going on with Raptr, which is R-A-P-T-R. It's a little dashboard program that tracks your game time and such. And the reason I bring that up is the fact that if you actually download the light version of Rift, if you've ever been thinking about playing it, you should really do it right now. Because you download the light version, and as long as you run Raptr and have it on, or the game listed in there, you can actually, if you accumulate 11 hours, I believe it is, you can actually get the full game, the Storm Legion expansion, and an extra 30 days of game time. Now, if you didn't have the game to begin with, that's another 30 days for just getting the game. So you actually get 2 months of game time. It's something really good to check out, because honestly, I never wanted to check it out, but this was the push that I needed, and I'm really glad that I did. Getting right into it, there's a lot of things in this game, and you'll actually find it quite fun. The class system is really in-depth. From the start, you pick Warrior, Mage, Cleric, or Rogue, just like any other, online game you find nowadays. However, each one has a subclass that you would pick from there that has 3 other classes underneath that. Now, you can pick all these, routes that they have laid out for you. It's really, I would recommend it at first until you feel comfortable. But you can actually create a custom build, and it's, like I said, it's very in-depth. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can level in this game. PvP is my poison of choice. It's really fun. This is actually one of the few games where I found PvP in an MMO is kind of toxic to me, because I find I dump a lot of time into it. There's also adventure parties. Now, the thing with adventure parties is you can actually, as you're running around questing, you can join them manually. If you run, next to one, it says join public group up top. Or you can press the period button, which is the shortcut for it, and queue up for it just like you would like a normal dungeon, which they also have in this game. Now, the point of an adventure party is, if you don't feel like questing alone, you go around with a group of people in a random zone, and it will take you through all the things that, normal quests would have you do, but it just does them all in succession. It marks them all on your map, and you get to work together with a lot of other people. So it really, it adds to the excitement of leveling, I guess, because you don't always have to be alone. And also, as you're going through the world, the main point of the game is to close rifts. Rifts are giant demon portals, essentially, that open up through the world. You get the ability to open up minor tears early in the game, I'm assuming major and PvP tears later. Now, the thing about the rifts is, it's kind of like a boss wave kind of thing. You actually go through multiple waves of enemies, and you have time limits set for them after, I believe, the 3rd wave. The point of this is kill them all, close the rift, and the more waves you get in, the better the rewards at the end. These rewards are used to buy special gear, like rare gear and such, that you would actually use through leveling. So I would highly recommend closing as many rifts as you can. It's kind of a weird concept to get used to at first, but the moment you do your first rift, you actually understand, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Going in, you can also do quests, just like any other standard MMO. But what I would recommend is joining an adventure party as soon as you can, picking up all the quests in the area relevant to where you're at, and just knocking out the quest with the adventure party. This way you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, get the most experience, most bang for your buck, and it's probably about one of the most effective ways to level. Looking at all the other features in the game, there's also an auction house in the game, which I'm not going to actually show footage of because it's kind of boring to look at an auction house. But it's one of those features that actually really draws people in. I like having an auction house because, well, everyone likes to upgrade, as soon as possible, and you have the ability to do so that way if you're not actually coming across the best of lucks with drops. As far as endgame is concerned, I'm not there quite yet. I'm only level 31. The level cap, I believe, is 60. In-game, you get to do PvP rifts. Oh, excuse me. Holy crap. You get to do PvP rifts and such. And that just sounds like a lot of fun, because closing rifts is okay, it's pretty entertaining at first, but after you do, you know, your first 50 to 100 of closing rifts randomly, it gets kind of mediocre, a little dull out. So you can only imagine how a PvP rift would be. There's also raids in the game, and as far as, you know, talking about the dungeon system a little bit more, the looking for group, you have a tool to where you can queue up and instantly go in, just like a lot of other MMOs. I'm not going to name any specifics. Wow. But you queue up for it, and the only thing that I've found is through the lower levels, it kind of has like a longer wait time as far as getting in if you're damaged, obviously. And that's because I assume most of the player base is actually high level. In which case they're probably PvPing and killing each other and kicking teeth in. For those that actually enjoy crafting in the games, there's also crafting, gathering, all the same standard stuff. And I haven't exactly taken too much of a look at it as of yet, because once again, like other games, it's useful early. However, it's not really a requirement. You can actually get decent gear from just leveling and what you find, as well as rummaging through the auction house. My overall opinion of this game is that it's actually really fun. And like I said, I'm really glad that I put the 11 hours into the Lite Edition to check it out. You know, I made sure to get level 20 before I actually got the game. And being that I got the game free, I'm going to have 2 months to play and actually check it out. So hopefully I get some in-game content in. And we'll get to see what that's like. Now, the character you're seeing in the video is my Mage. It's a Bomby Mage. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Don't correct me. But I'm on the Defiant side. There's two factions in the game, and it's the Defiants and the Guardians. And the Guardians are like, ah, gods, yes. The Defiants are like, ah, God, screw you. So, obviously, you know, I chose the Defiant side for a reason. But the class that I'm playing is a Mage. And the reason I like the Mage is I like being out of harm's way. I like being at a range. And one of the things I was a little bit wary of was sitting there just planting your feet and just casting non-stop. The reason I like my Mage is the fact that I don't have to do that. I'm actually set up more like a Warlock. I'm combining the Warlock and the Pyromancer. In doing so, about 80% of my spells are all instant casts, whether it's instant damage or instant damage over times. I don't have a whole lot of survivability. I do have one shield I can use every 30 seconds, and I have the ability to get a shield when I'm hit. And that can proc, I believe, every 30 seconds as well. So it gives me a little bit of sustain, and just not a lot. I also get to run around with my undead pet, as you can see, and he does some pretty good damage up early in the game. You can also get a tank pet and a caster pet. I'm not far enough in the Necromancer tree to actually make use of it, so that's why I'm using the standard DPS skeleton at the moment. I believe you have to be 30 points deep for the range Wraith, I believe it is. But a lot of the different things you can do with these classes, like Mage, your first thought in your mind is, oh, they're damage. But in this game, that's wrong. You could be damage, you could be support, which is an interesting feature, and you could be a healer as a Mage. And just the same thing goes for a Cleric as well. You could be damage, I believe you could be a healer, and you could be a tank. And all these classes, are, you know, they all vary, so you can do pretty much whatever you want. And when you go into a dungeon, it always picks up like tank, healer, support, a couple DPS. You don't always need the support for early game, but I'm assuming that the reason it's there is for actual in-game, because I can only imagine what's coming. They do have mounts in the game, they do have pets, and they also run events. Like there's one going on right now where randomly rifts that open in the world will drop these hellbugs, and you have a chance of getting hellbug pets and or mounts from closing these rifts. So that's something to, you know, something cool. I like how, you know, sub-based games can still run special events in the game and, you know, give you a little bit more out of the ordinary, something you're not used to. So, that's something to take a look at. Overall, the main reason I didn't check out this game was because I was one of the supporters of another game for the longest time. But it's definitely worth checking out. I enjoy it a lot, and I think everyone who sees this should actually give it a shot, because it's damn fun. But that's pretty much all I got to say for now. I'm going to keep playing, see what else I can figure out. I'll update everyone if I find out anything special or not. But for now, that's all I've got for you, and until next time, this is Bolg out.